Greetings, Starfinders. Welcome in. Hope you're having a fine Monday out there. Welcome back to the Secret Lab with me, your host, Jevon Fox. Now, without wishing to be indelicate, it appears I failed a gastrointestinal constitutional save, and I am struggling a little. Not really what you want when you're wearing a white lab coat. So, if we take an extra break today, possibly rather hurriedly, my apologies, but I am holding it together as best I can here, and all I can say is, be very careful when experimenting with research chemicals, because you never know what's going to happen. Normally I have a stronger constitution than that, but here we are. Anyway, Season 2! How exciting! I think everybody's raring to go. I hope you are too. So, let's not dilly-dally, shall we? Let's get straight into the credits and go and meet the cast and the crew of the Rusty Mustang. Let's go. Okay, folks, welcome back. Did you all have a nice week off?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also no, but mostly yes.
Excellent.
Stressful week off.
She is currently out on a personal mission, hence the slightly different camera setup this week. Taking a week off from the antenna, but you know, in spirit they're still there. I think also potentially I made her poorly. Or she made me poorly. But I promise not to hold that against her in tonight's session. So, on the subject of tonight's session, we rejoin you guys pretty much exactly where we left off. At the end of 2 weeks ago's season finale. You had, of course, just by the very skin of your teeth, escaped from the surface of Cryonis III on the Rusty Mustang, our faithful steed, and home to Claremont Yala. However, you do have some guests, some passengers, almost getting on for 100. Not quite, but getting there. Residents of Cryonis III, who you rescued from the surface just before the entire planet, the entire moon, was racked by some sort of geological event. It's become apparent that this geological event was triggered by the presence of this strange and rare and unusual element, which a stealth force of short, slender, grey telepathic aliens had been extracting for their own mysterious purposes. You, at the behest of the ice elementals that you discovered living on the planet, managed to stop whatever their nefarious mission was and escape with the miners from the mining colony. A few made it off on different ships that were already docked at the landing pads on Cryonis, and as far as you can see from the viewing ports of the Rusty Mustang, as it recedes into the black of the spacey night, you're not going to be going back there anytime soon. The Horseshoe Mountains appear to liquefy before your very eyes. This orbital event has occurred, and much sooner than anybody anticipated, presumably because of the anomalous spatial properties of this element. So, we rejoin you immediately following this. You've taken off from the planet. You have a ship full of refugees. And at the moment, no destination. So, folks, for the first time in Season 2, what do you do?
Well, we could probably go back to Absalom Station and give a full report to Mr. Callahan. Return to him Dr. Helsig, who is in his employ, and maybe he'll find a use for a bunch of displaced miners and colonists.
I don't think we should sell them into slavery.
That is
Dr.
not
Helsing's
what I
mine.
suggested.
I think that was
All right, one at a time.
Yeah, I don't think we should be selling these guys into slavery.
I don't think
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Oh my god.
I'm not expressing an opinion either way at this point, but how much could we get for them? Do you think?
Probably quite a bit.
Oh boy.
Laz lets a little bit of electricity arc between his fingers and yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. I don't think we should do that.
I don't know, like the last time I sold people into slavery, it was quite lucrative.
As someone who's almost been sold into slavery, I'd prefer we didn't do that.
There you go, Organda. Captain says no.
Captain says no, yeah. Captain says no. We're not selling anyone into slavery. Captain says no.
But we should probably figure out if any of these guys are like reptoids, right?
Yes.
They could be
Thank
reptoids.
you. I'm not paranoid.
What do you want
I
to
was
do?
saying-
Prick their fingers and watch their blood?
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Somebody get the flamethrower. Let's heat up some wire.
Could we, I mean, until we manage to figure out a way to test them, we probably need to lock them in some room and keep an eye on them. Maybe we could take watch in
Well,
help. Can't think of my words.
let's just tell everyone to hunker down in the cargo bay, because that seems like the only place big enough to hold this amount of people. If no one leaves the cargo bay, then we can keep an eye on everyone, and we don't have to do any testing. We can just make sure nobody does anything.
I vote we
haven't-
interrogate them one by one. Bring
Wait,
the
Wait, can,
Osha.
We do have a
Can-
week, right, at least, before we can get pretty much anywhere, so...
Captain, can you use your empathic powers and sense thoughts to actually scan everyone, or does it have to be individually?
I don't know.
And
Maybe.
in the interim, if we're chugging towards Absalom Station, what I might suggest is that the Laz links the guns together, so that if we get into any kind of ship-to-ship combat, I can use my gunnery skills more efficiently.
I mean, I
Okay.
can detect their thoughts, but I can't detect whether they're shapeshifters or not.
But would their thoughts not be at least give us something? Because
Maybe, I don't know.
you
If
know-
they go around thinking, who am I going to shapeshift into next?
no, but they might be thinking,
Wait,
shit, I'm stuck on this ship. You know,
I mean, I can try it for sure.
we have that list, don't we, that we downloaded from the ship.
Oh, that's right, we do.
Do we have like a passenger manifest?
I don't. Let's
Right,
get
we can-
Rubio. Let's get
we could-
Rubio up here. He probably knows who's on here, right? Is he on the ship? Or is he on a
Rubio,
different ship?
Yeah.
Rubio is on the ship.
Alright,
Okay.
I feel like we can trust Rubio at least.
All right,
He-
Blaz strides over to the door of the head and knocks on it. It's like, Rubio, get out of here!
Do you normally knock like that?
Oh, that is... Sorry, I've just realised
Sorry.
something very disconcerting, which is apparently all my maps and tokens have vanished off Owlbear.
Oh no.
That
Oh,
means he
no.
can't do an encounter.
I
Are
think,
you-
I think, I
assholes
think,
to
I think I
everyone
might
and he
know why
can't
it is
fight
as
back.
well, because...
Are you on the right?
No,
Owlbear
I am, and I think I know why it is as well. It's fine. It's fine.
Zoe,
Everything's fine, including my ass.
could you send me the Owlbear link, please? The
It's
username. I don't have it on this laptop.
frankly, it's redundant until I've done some little bit of behind the
Sorry,
scenes
I thought you-
scrambling, so don't worry about it right now.
I thought you were going into a little Star Wars pastiche there. It's fine. Everything's fine. How are you?
I'll send it to you anyway, Ellie, because if I don't do it right now, I'll forget.
Yeah. So
If I don't do it immediately when you ask me, it won't get done.
there's going to be we're going to theatre of the mind this thing for just a moment.
Thank you
But
very much.
yes, if you can picture it, the cargo bay is currently where all of the refugees are gathered. I would presume you've maybe slipped upstairs to the living quarters to have this conversation. And yes, as you send a little message over the radio, a minute or two later, Rubio Locus, former head of security, head of at the Cryonis III mining facility, appears.
Okay, Rubio. You got everyone on the ship, right? You know who's all here,
Last I checked, we got everyone out of there, yeah.
and you know the names and identities of all these people, right?
Well, sure thing. I lived with him for a good few years.
Okay. Well, we have a list here of people who have been abducted by those aliens that were on the planet. We need you to cross-reference this list and see if any of those people are here, just for safety reasons.
As you open up the list that was stored to Blaz's PCU, it is not fully decrypted. So while you can, you've not fully cracked it. So you can see that it's medical information and a large quantity of it, multiple entries, but it is not a kind of just, oh yeah, flick through this thing in common space English. You did obviously have comprehend languages at the time, Blaz, which allowed you to get in there a little bit quicker and kind of pass what kind of data this was. But it is not exactly a flick through kind of data set as it stands. Well, I don't know where you got this from, but I sure don't speak alien.
Well, we need someone that does, or we need someone that can decode this in some way.
Looks like I've got some work to do.
Okay, well, for now then, seeing as we can't use the list right now, Rubio, we need you to make sure everyone stays in the cargo bay for the entirety of the trip. We don't want anyone going anywhere else. We'll provide, obviously, facilities, toilets, food, and stuff like that. If I assume you have rations with you that you took from the town, but we need everyone to stay in the cargo bay.
Well, hang on a minute. We grabbed as much as we could when we got off the planet, but there wasn't much time to pack. You seriously think there might be more of these things running around down there?
We're not ruling it out as a possibility, is what we're saying.
Okay, but I can head down there and keep everybody calm. But if this gets out, we could have a panic on our hands, and there ain't much room up here.
Yeah.
We need to keep it quiet.
Don't mention it at all. And then once we've got everything ready to go.
Wait, hang on a second. The Rusty Mustang has a med bay, right? Do we have access to any scanning equipment that would aid us in detecting a shapeshifter?
You might have to ask Clem.
Clem?
On a closed channel.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Not accidentally like just broadcasting it
And
across the deck.
Don't tell him why.
Quick
Don't tell him why.
on the draw there, Omagander. You know me too well. Well played. Well done. Right, give me a second here.
Good vest.
You got Clem?
Hey, Clem, it's Blaz. We need to know if anything in the med bay would help us kind of scan through the refugees to detect any anomalies.
Hang on a second. You say anomalies? What kind of anomalies are we talking about here?
Don't do it.
Well, there was a lot of stuff going on that planet, with all the gravitational and the ore and the stuff. We need to know if everyone's all right, or if everyone, if someone's like basically mass is fluctuating, that's not a good sign for them or probably anyone around them. So
we need to do a health check on the slaves. I mean, we need to do a health check on the refugees for their own safety.
Yeah, this is
Well,
Ormanganda, maybe we can siphon off a few. Nobody will notice if we just take a few.
will do. We might have something down
What
in
did you
the
say?
might have something down in the med bay. I don't know whether it'll do what you wanted to do. Sounds pretty complex to me. But sure, you can make use of the facilities if you think it'll help.
All right, great. Thanks.
I have a question.
Fire away.
Not for you, Clem.
Oh, okay, I'll go. But listen, I need to talk to you guys. We may have some other things to chat about. I don't want to do it over comms, so I'll pop down in a bit.
Okay.
Sounds ominous.
This,
Um,
what color was the shapeshift? What color was their blood? Was it normal or was it like gross and green like their skin?
Ace, what color was their blood?
Ormagander remember because he skinned one of them.
Yeah, you got me. I'm trying to picture the exploded head in front of my face, but it's not.
Well,
Rewind to 5
If
minutes ago when you said face is the kind of dragon that doesn't need to take notes.
If it helps at all, the blood was dark and Icarus. It definitely
So sort of a
definitely was not
black.
So,
human in
If
color.
we pose a minor faux medical to check up
Blood
on the
tests.
health of everyone,
Blood tests.
simple blood tests, we should be able to just look at the
Well-
blood and know if any of them are shapeshifters.
Hang on, a shapeshifter will know that its blood is, Icarus and outside of its control once it's outside of its body, so it'll aim to avoid that somehow.
Mhm.
But if we've got some sort of
But
non-invasive scan,
list.
I'll be in
Well-
the medicals. I'll be in the medical bay with you. If anyone does that, I'll eat them.
I was going to say, if anyone reacts that way to having their blood
Yeah.
taken,
well, how
They're
do we know they won't
probably-
just
probably
absorb
pretty
a colonist and let a little bit of blood out at the right time? I don't know.
I'm not sure it works like
I
that,
think it would be
but
difficult
I'm
to
happy
pull the
to
wool
stay in
over
the.
our eyes in a enclosed space.
We're
I'm
on
happy
home
to
turf.
stay in
We've
the
got the
cargo
advantage.
bay.
Or just with your sniper rifle, just.
Shapeshifters make me nervous. What can I say?
That itchy trigger finger.
Do not be alarmed. This is for your own safety.
Yeah.
So fake medicals? Or like
I feel like-
real medicals,
I
but
feel like blood
Hey,
tests
medicals
is
is-
probably the quickest way of doing it.
Jay,
Mhm.
can we just? I don't know what facilities are in the medical bay, but given that I have scalped one of these and I'm carrying around its skin, presumably we can extract some of its DNA from that, So you were all having a go at me for taking trophies, but
I didn't have a go at you. I don't care what trophy you take.
maybe it was just Jay then.
you dare
Yeah,
try and imply that
actually, in retrospect, it was just Jay who was accusing me of defiling the bodies of my enemies, which I was because it's the best way. But anyway, yeah, why don't we take some of
Defile away.
why don't we take some of the that juicy biological material from my trophies, and we can maybe use that.
Okay, so who's going to do that work?
James.
Probably gonna be me with life sciences or medicine.
James has got a lot of work to do on this ship.
He's
our man.
He's a busy chap.
Right. The Swiss Army Technomancer.
Okay.
We need to figure out what Clem
here.
wants from us as well.
That's true.
And then Ashley and I need to have a secret talk about how many people we can sell into slavery without the rest of them noticing.
That's
I said
great.
that out loud.
That's
Yeah,
very,
you said the
very-
loud part. You said the quiet part out loud.
Out
there.
loud. Yeah.
You said the inside thought outside.
True.
Okay.
Chris, let's eat some of them as well.
I do want to eat some people. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they're coming out of your share.
I feel like the team was split down.
I would like you to give me a life science check, please, Blaz, on the remains of the Reptoid.
Life science check is a 26.
Very good.
Nice.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
With a 26,
Smoking.
you can I also have a mysticism check as well, please?
Ooh, I'm not as good at mysticism, bear with me. 22.
Okay. So, you managed to determine that the Reptoids are, their shape-shifting abilities are indeed biological. You also managed to detect that there is a mystical element, a spell element, to their shape-shifting abilities. They essentially were using enhanced shape-shifting. From what you can tell, as you examine the remains of the Reptoid, is that
Detect magic.
normally a Reptoid should only be able to sustain a very convincing and biological change. However, they should only be able to sustain it for a certain period of time. It would appear that
If the disguise lasts longer than 4 hours, please consult a physician.
However, the Reptoids you encountered on this planet appear to have had their shape-shifting abilities topped up by a mystical element, and that means that they would be able, from what you can tell from your research, they would be able to sustain the illusion for significantly longer, and perhaps would be even more difficult to detect.
Okay, guys. These Reptoids have been taking performance-enhancing magic blue pills. We have no way of knowing how long they can maintain their biological transformation.
Do we have? I suppose the question is, do they give off any kind of aura even when they're concealed? So I can't remember, but some of you guys have got detect magic, haven't you? Can't you actually tell?
Wait,
I've
Ooh.
got
I
detect
thought we were
magic.
just pricking them.
Yeah, but we might not need to.
That
Prick
is a
them, you know.
that is a good shout. If there is a mystical element involved, I might be able to get it with detect magic.
I feel like it's quicker to just prick people.
Phrasing again.
Sound like a 20-year-old version of me.
Is detect magic a level 0 spell? Is it like?
Yeah, it's cantrip.
So you might as well just do it every time you take. You can take blood and detect magic every time, and then it's like double.
I mean, it's a cone spell, so I could just look at the cargo bay and see what I can see.
I mean, yeah.
Have you got detect magic as well, Captain?
Mhm.
So do you as well, Face?
No.
Okay, so you two, so maybe if you do an initial pass on the cargo deck, and then
Triangulate.
and then anyone who's who sets off your radar, we can triage and look at them in further detail.
I can't wait for there to be
Okay.
0 reptoids on this ship.
I know, right?
We've spent 40
Hey.
minutes.
We start some sort of stampede in the cargo bay. Just trample people to
Right.
death.
Well, they won't know that you're detecting magic, will they?
Oh, spells are obvious. So yeah, you can't use them in a subtle way.
What if we wait till everyone's gone to sleep until people are resting, and
Can
then
we
do
put
it?
them to sleep somehow? Could we knock them out?
Now we're talking
Some,
like
might
that.
take
some
a
form
while.
of gas,
I feel like
maybe.
that's
Is
not
there a
necessary.
gas on the?
I feel like that's definitely not necessary. They'll fall asleep at some point.
Detect thoughts isn't visible.
Oh,
Should we
okay.
try detect? Should we just try detect thoughts first?
Worth a go.
I can just, and that's the 60-foot cone as well. Same, like, I could do a pass with that. If I don't find anything, you could do a pass with detect magic.
Okay.
Face is gonna go and do some tail balancing and think about some stuff in his quarters quickly.
Can I just... Is Rubio still around?
He's popped downstairs to go and calm the people and let them know they're going to be here for some time. They need to stay to the cargo bay. So, but he's not far away.
Sorry. Of course. No, guys, do you remember if there were other ships that left with refugees on them? Or was it just
There were.
us?
There were, weren't there? I'm sure there were.
We
It wasn't just
probably
us.
need to let them know to be on guard in case, as Clara said, of any...
Not until we
illnesses.
know here, because what are we going to do? Like, that's another way where it could just leak out. If we say you need to be on guard for possible shape-shifting aliens, yeah, what's to stop them from communicating back on an open channel and giving away the game to everyone on board the Mustang?
I guess the
Dunno.
alternative risk is that we don't, and then they steal the spaceship, and then they run away with all the refugees, which is our money, to be fair.
Stop trying to sell our refugees
You're
as
not
slaves.
selling them into slavery.
Such a problematic episode. Did not see that
Blaze,
coming.
Blaze pulls on some UPVC gloves and like, right, Rubio, send up the colonists one at a time for health screenings to make sure no unintended biological consequences have arisen from their planet melting.
Doesn't our captain need to detect their thoughts first?
I thought she was doing that as they came.
Rubio is very efficient, and he you're lucky. He manages to arrange the colonists. They're used to looking up to him, and they're clearly all very shaken. Doesn't appear to cause too much concern. However, there's a vague air of suspicion. There is a little bit of a whoa. Hang on, what sort of biological? There are murmurings around the cargo bay. However, they do start to get into a fairly orderly queue and working their way up to the living quarters deck to submit for the first set of screenings.
My
Clara,
detect thoughts only lasts a minute per level, which is 3 minutes. So while they're like queuing, I'll have to just like walk down alongside them and just
Clara.
kind of scope them out. Because if I wait for them to come in one by one, it will run out, and it's an actual.
Okay, so I'll
Only
overwatch.
so many times.
I'll overwatch while you do that, and if you pick up anything from anyone, you give me a signal of some sort.
I'll just.
Captain,
I
I
know.
have the same spell if we need to run it twice.
Oh.
Good to know.
everybody forgets that the Lashunta is vaguely telepathic.
You can start at the back, and I'll start at the front, and we can meet in the middle.
Plan.
Okay. As you guys commence your sweep, the general feeling is one of obviously sadness. They've just lost their home, their jobs. Concern for the future. Nobody knows where they're going, what the plan is. Nobody's really sort of, aside from Rubio, Rubio's keeping them calm, but hasn't given them any information about where now. So they are starting to get a bit rattled, more so than they were. And there is some suspicion about these tests that they're suddenly being asked to be subjected to. They don't really know, only very few of the colonists actually know you guys. And while they are grateful for the lift, they are not, their guard is not entirely down. In fact, the vast majority of them still don't know who you even work for. They just know you were representatives of some investor who turned up and then the whole planet went to shit. So there is definitely an air of suspicion. However, you do not detect any untoward thoughts of causing you harm. No glaring deceptions. You don't uncover any plots as they start to make their way to. I presume, Blaz, are you carrying out these examinations?
Yeah, sure. Blaz will work these through. He's got the patter down. Just hop up on the bed for me and roll up your sleeve. This is really quick test just to make sure that none of the completely unknown element that was on your planet has done you any harm.
So you're going to take blood?
Yeah, just a little bit for testing.
How can you test for an unknown element?
Well, while we were down on the planet, and Blaz is going to give an embroidered story about the in 60 seconds or less about the heroic antics of the team in uncovering an alien conspiracy and an unknown element with mass-altering powers that he's testing for.
So you are concealing a small lie within a truth.
Yes.
Give me a bluff check, please.
Oh shit.
Maybe. What about?
Oh, 19.
Ooh, nice.
Got to get there, right? On a 0 plus.
It's only a small lie concealed within a truth. That is enough to not raise too many eyebrows. Your patter seems to, for the time being, prevent any further questions, and your reasoning is accepted by at least the first batch of patients.
Do they go and tell everyone else of our exploits? Are they so inspired by our heroism that they?
On a 19, there is a something of a chain reaction effect that starts to minimise any further questions. People seem to be largely accepting the party line, and it seems
They're going to be so surprised.
The entire situation feels a little bit more routine at this stage for the remainder of the test subjects.
Nice.
When you're taking the blood, what are you doing? Are you literally just taking blood and seeing if it's black, or are you carrying out any other sorts of tests? What are you doing with it?
For immediate check, it's just holding the vial up to the light, making sure just checking I've got enough, and then quick label and rack up to test later if needed. I'm not looking to do any tests with them in the room. Just have I got enough blood? Is it black? Check with the light. No. Okay. Well, we'll rack that up and do some testing later. Move them on nice and quick.
Okay. You've got a fair few people to go through. This whole process is going to take, I would say, probably over half a day. I mean, the best part of a day to get through. You do get the chance to sort of fire up detect thoughts again, and same story. But by now, the people who've been through the testing have started to sort of make a kind of, I suppose, a makeshift kind of bivouacking down in the cargo bay, trying to make themselves comfortable. But the one thing you are picking up now on your later passes of detect thoughts, guys, is you are very aware of, we've been in space for best part of a day, and Rubio has no more information. People are concerned, and no course has been set. There's been no word from you, no word from the captain, and people are starting to get agitated.
At this point, I would like to come out of my room and gather the team,
Mm-hmm.
and just say, So we're going to Absalom, right, guys? Did we decide on that? I feel like that's the best course of action. It seems like the most central place for people to be able to get back to where they need to go after we drop them off.
As you say,
Sounds
so,
okay.
can I just ask a question? When you said gather the team, just the party? Or does anybody else constitute part of this team?
Well, I also want Clem there.
Okay.
At least. If Yala's not there, that's fine, but if she is, then great.
Well, Yala is currently manning the stick, so Clem joins you in the kitchen. You all sit round the kitchen table. You've completed the test, and Blas, you discovered no discoloured blood. You've discovered no conspiratorial thoughts amongst the refugees. To all intents and purposes, from what you can tell so far, the crews, the colonists, seem clean.
I would say keep that blood safe somewhere in case it changes state.
I'm glad you said we're in the kitchen, because I'd like to ask Clem if what I want to do is I want to basically cook up like a little bit of a buffet if there's enough food. I'll give him some money if he needs it to like pay, so we can stock up. But I want to do like basically I wanted to do a culture check so that I could make some dragon-based food.
Okay.
And share that with the refugees basically, and put on like a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're trying to. So you're. Okay. Yeah. But so you're what? You're trying to do like a little human dragonkin fusion.
Yeah.
Okay. As you are preparing for this meal, this kind of homecoming meal, I guess you could say, you realise that there's not a huge amount in the kitchen cupboards. I mean, there's enough, but maybe not quite enough for the sort of the grand plans you have for this meal. And so you give Clem a little nod and sort of say, is there any more supplies?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. We came out here with a lot of supplies, but we had to ditch some of the cargo back there to get everybody aboard. I don't know whether you've noticed down in the bay. Well, there's a lot less boxes down there and a lot more people. We have a bit of a supply issue here, folks. I don't know where you guys wanted to head to next, but we're gonna have to put into port pretty damn soon. Food ain't so bad. We can stretch that, but my main concern is the CO2 filters. Life support's working overtime. Where is it you want to go? I've been sitting on my paws all day, and well, frankly, we need to put in a course.
Do we have enough to get us to Absalom, or do we need to stop off somewhere else first?
It's hard to say with this many people aboard. If things stay the way they are, Absalom feels like a hell of a long way. I feel like if we don't find somewhere to put in the next maybe 36, 48 hours, we're gonna start to see some shit. Absalom's getting on for almost a week away. That's if we make good time. I don't know whether that's the best idea. I mean, you know what the drift's like. It's hard to say, but I don't think I'd like to chance it.
Right. So what we need is basically the nearest habitable planet. Maybe we can leave some people there, then head. No, I'm not selling them into slavery, nothing like that. We drop them off, then we can send the ship to Absalom to bring back more ships to bring them back, because the captain said we're not allowed to sell them into slavery and we're not allowed to eat them, and good soldiers follow orders.
Clem looks kind of relieved at the mention of the word slavery. He looked fucking disturbed, because that's not his racket, man.
Well,
I thought at the very least we could sell the half-elf to the Rouge Saloon, but apparently not even that.
Well, slams his staff down on the floor and a little spark comes out the top. Stares down Ormungandr.
Ormungandr winks and just goes, "Just joking, big guy. Just joking."
I wasn't.
I high five. I high five Naneshi.
Guys, it's real good to see you again, but we have a serious problem here. I think we need to focus up.
What's
Where's
the next best
civilized and in striking distance?
Yeah, have we got like a map of the surrounding galaxy area that we can just check if there's any planets around?
Well, look, we're kind of in the ass end of nowhere out here. Pretty remote. I'd say there's only really one place that's comfortably within range of what we've got on board at the moment. I mean, if you've got some bright ideas as to cheat a little more range out of the Mustang, then you can be my guest, but I'd say we're probably looking at the Diaspora.
You say that with such a
Diaspora?
You can give
say
me
that with such an unimpressed tone. I'm concerned.
Culture check?
you can I would say that's probably going to be, actually, let me think. This is probably going to be, physical science check.
Oh, I'll do one of those. I'll do.
Yeah, I got pretty decent physical science too.
I don't. I'll leave.
Well,
it to
you can. I've been looking up on the rules on this. You can aid another player. Let's say if Face was making the physical science check, you, Blaz, could make a depends on the thing, but normally a DC 10 skill check in the same skill, and if you pass it, then you can add +2 to Face's roll.
Alrighty. Facey, do you want to do this, and I'll prompt you if required.
You would do it first. You would commit to helping him, and then that would give him his +2.
I roll a 15.
There you go. So you're going to get a +2 on your roll, then for physical science, Face.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 22.
Right.
Nice.
Face, you've been out here. I mean, as much as anyone, really. Your Skyfire background, has sent you on some diverse postings through the years, and you would know that the Diaspora is essentially a large, strung-out asteroid belt, and it is. There are some, shall we say, eclectic settlements there. If one of you guys wants to give me a culture check, then I can tell you some more about it.
I can also do that. I've got pretty good culture knowledge.
Anybody want to help him out?
Yes.
My culture's +4, so it's probably not as good as yours. Okay.
Mine's +7, so here we go.
Cap, well, do you want to wait? One of us. What's yours, Zoe?
I've already rolled. I got 25.
Oh, who cares?
Okay.
Nice.
In that case, as you guys are discussing this, Clem suggests you might want to move through to an area with a proper view screen. And on said view screen, he brings up the following: a map of the Diaspora. It's a splintered river of settlements and points of interest. You would know some of them. Clem certainly knows some of them. If there is anywhere in particular, well, I tell you what, we'll start out by Clem showing you the whole scan.
Well, there it is. This is the nearest place we can put down. It's it's not always the friendliest part of space. I tend to try and avoid it myself. It's where the free captains are based. And, truckers and pirates don't really mix, you know what I'm saying? But there are a couple of places we might be able to find safe harbor.
Would you call it a hive of scum and villainy?
Certainly can be, sir. Certainly can be. You gotta watch where you put down out there, let's put it that way.
I say we go to Nisis. I don't know how you say that.
Well, not.
What,
like-
have you visited here before, Clem? What do you know about the place?
Well, if you'll excuse the pun, it's nice enough. It's more ice if you're in the mood for that. It's a planetoid, big ocean moon under a crust of ice. They got some basic docks there. Not sure it'd be the best place for these folks down the stairs, but it's certainly an option.
What do we plan to do when we get there?
Well,
Just stock up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the problem is the number of people aboard ship, what can we do?
Well,
to
the
alter
problem is
that,
we don't have
so-
enough supplies for that number of people, so I think we just need to restock on food.
No, it's oxygen. It's not food.
Yeah, but we can.
Yeah.
your lizard
I'm-
friend there is right. We could do with some more supplies, but we got rid of them to make room for these people. We can only take on so much. The real strain is on the life support.
I would think that a planet like Nisus would have some sort of life support facilities and stuff that we could purchase.
Retrofit the ship with
Yeah.
additional life support systems. Would that be viable, Clem?
Or just replace the ones that we've got, or clean them out, or something.
Hard to say. We don't spend much time there, really. A lot of natural resources on there. Not much trade in and out that we tend to deal with. We could certainly have a look. I mean, there are maybe a couple of other options.
In principle, Clem, could we improve the life support capabilities of this ship so that we would be able to transport these refugees to Absalon Station?
Well, it's just stuff like CO2 filters and stuff like that, right? It's
Yeah, but they're square and the ports are round, so
It's the
damn.
It's the capacity that we're really having trouble. It's, fresh filters, maybe an upgrade. It might buy us some more range, but, I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm a trucker, not a ship's engineer. I keep her running, but as far as fancy upgrades go, you're a little outside
So
my
the
pay
question
grade.
is, what are we planning to do? Try and retrofit the ship, which, at least from what Clem's saying, doesn't necessarily sound that possible. Or are we looking for a place where we can deposit these people temporarily, big man?
how
And then
about
pick
we
them up.
ask them what they want? Let's. So we're not getting
Yeah.
anywhere else other than the Diaspora, right? So Clem should set course for this place, and then let's
On the way
have a
there,
little
we can-
powwow with the refugees, lay out
You want
what the
to
situation
put
with.
100 refugees where they
I mean-
want to.
No, I want to tell them that we're going to this place. It's the only place we can get to. But once we get there, we're gonna have to make some decisions. And what do they want?
Isn't that going to kind of make people panic?
Not if I
No
help.
more so than just kind of getting there, opening the doors on the ice moon, and saying "Get out."
No, we wouldn't do
I
that.
can also help
We
keep
wouldn't
them
do that.
calm.
That's a good point, Captain.
Well, then, I suppose there might be somewhere. It's been a while. I don't know. Maybe Nisus is the best place. I don't know.
Where would you
What
suggest,
ideas,
Clem?
Clem?
What would be the safest place to take these people in the interim that we can reach?
Well, there's always the Ferribarium.
What's the Ferribarium?
Well, it's an old Knights of Galarian ship. Had a run-in with an Eoxian cruiser a few years ago. Man, I got some Yosoki pals who we're involved in salvaging it. It's a decent little trade frigate now. Sounds like they've kind of fallen on their feet. I don't know, they must have some kind of deal with the free captains to be able to operate in this part of space. I don't know about any of that, and I like to avoid them folk, but it's a decent little hub. Might be able to find what we're looking for there.
Let's go there then.
Yeah. Why didn't you mention this before?
Well, I say friends, might have had a little run-in with a couple of them a few years ago. I'm sure they've forgotten about all that.
Yeah, in
Are
my
they good
experience,
people?
people don't forget that quickly.
Well, they're fine. I mean, they're entrepreneurial types. They're about business, and I'm sure we can strike up some business. I might just stay on the ship, though.
Perhaps best if we keep it off the radar that you're on the ship? Would they recognize the Mustang?
Oh, you see the Mustang, you know it's old Clem. But, you know, she's had some upgrades since then. I mean, she's had a little
Maybe-
facelift. Who knows?
Maybe once they know what we're asking them to help with, they'll be a bit more forgiving.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions, Clem.
Far away.
What about this Archon's Halo place? What's that?
Archon Halo.
Oh,
Oh, Archon's Halo. Oh, well. That's a weird one. I don't think you want to be heading there. It's supposedly a research station, but, it hangs right on the lip of that vortex out there, and, well, every truck around knows you don't go anywhere near the vortex if you want to get out with your ass intact.
I'm gonna quickly just save the coordinates to my PCU thing, my
Okay.
personal unit, and then say, all right, okay. What about this Geo station? Geo? I don't know how to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Broken Rock?
Yeah, well, your friend here probably knows more about that than any of my guys will know. That's some Veskarian Navy place. It's been out there for a while. You see a lot of comings and goings with the old Vesk soldiers there, but, well, you can understand I don't exactly pull them over and chat about it. Don't think it's exactly supposed to be public knowledge, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe not the best place for refugees.
Oh,
They're likely to get eaten.
I don't think they'd take kindly to 100 strange humans turning up on their doorstep.
It won't harm Dr. Helsig, though. He's a citizen of the Vesk Empire.
Yeah, maybe, but, well, like I say, you know more than me. Well, tell me, my lizard friend, have you ever heard of Geostation?
You would not
Culture
have done.
check, I guess. Oh, it's so cool. I'm like, no.
Well, I feel like that tells you everything you need to know about how welcoming they might be.
Buzz is
Kinda wanna go
gonna
there
Buzz is gonna reiterate his point about asking people. Well, there's 100 of them, and they're miners and colonists. They might know some stuff.
Okay.
Someone might have an ante.
What's Broken Rock, Clem?
Sorry, I'm just
Basically, a fortress by the look of it.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of pirate fortress.
Well, I don't know every stop along the way, but Broken Rock, exactly what I was telling you about. That's where the free captains operate out of.
The slums.
It's an asteroid with a, well, that's Pirate HQ, if you must know. And well, they're as pirates go, they're an honorable sort, but they operate to a code. You can certainly find all kinds of work there if you've got an imagination, but as the captain of a cargo ship, it's pretty much a no-go area for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like paying them bills.
Baz reaches out a finger and taps on the map and says, "This place here, right here, is perfect." Pointing at one of the asteroids and reading the name Refuge.
Oh yeah, Refuge. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great place to lay your head if you're a freedom-fighting android. That's where they tend to call home. They're hoping to get the whole android homeworld out there. It's a noble endeavor, but yeah,
Probably not the best place to take a load of humans.
Well, some of them got complicated feelings too. You carbon-based life forms. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder how the refugees would be feeling if we told them we were going to take them to the abattoir.
Well, nobody goes to the abattoir, son.
What's the abattoir?
Well, if you're a little too hardcore for the free captains, that's where you headed. Of course, it wasn't called the abattoir back then. It was just a little asteroid they decided to use as their base. But
So it's pirate prison?
no, it was a breakaway pirate state, I guess you could say. They didn't really want to follow the code. Nasty sorts, you know what I mean? Yeah, but, well...
I bet Dex is there, the bastard.
Maybe you could say it was, well, I doubt that
So
somehow.
hypothetically, if you
I
wanted-
doubt that somehow, because...
Hypothetically, if you wanted to sell some slaves, you'd go to the abattoir, right? Not that any of us are suggesting that.
I can't stress enough how bad an idea that would be. Those pirates that sat down there, I mean, they were a pretty nasty sort, but nobody knows what they woke up down there. Nobody's heard from them since, and nobody goes there anymore. Seems
That
like
sounds so fun.
Seems like they woke something up down there, and well, if you want to go there, you can take one of the pods and head there yourselves, because I ain't taking the Stang anywhere fucking near it.
Spring break, Minashi.
Yeah, I
Dub Samarana on abattoir.
to go to the abattoir.
I can't decide.
Kind of want to go to the abattoir too.
Well, that's just fine and dandy, but you'll be going on your own.
Let's put a pin in
I'll
that
be
one.
sure
We're
to
gonna
say
have
some
we're
real
gonna
nice
have to
words
come
about
back
you
and
when
visit
you're
the
gone.
abattoir. Okay, so yeah, maybe we should ask. What do you think, guys? Should we ask maybe bring in Rubio, see what he thinks as the kind of, I guess he's like the.
So Clem set course
I
for
think
the
that's
diaspora. We'll find a final destination and let's chat to the colonists.
Okay,
Go with
but
Rubio
we
first.
can head for the diaspora for sure. Before we set course, though, it's gonna be real close. I think if we carry on as is, it's gonna be tight. If there's somewhere in particular you want to land, we're probably gonna have to make a decision a little further out than that.
What's the closest, Clem?
It's gonna take
What's
some
the closest
pretty
we can
fancy
get to?
flying, some pretty clever navigation to bring us out the drift exactly where you want us to be.
She's a good pilot.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take some.
And I love piloting.
It's gonna take some dead-eye piloting and some pretty smart navigation if you want to drop out exactly where you want to drop out.
I believe in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well, when the time comes, just be ready to make that call, because I'm gonna need you to pull off something special to land us exactly in the bullseye.
Face puts his hand out to the middle of the table and says, "Go team on 3." And waits for people to put their hands on top of his hand.
Laz can't roll his mechanical eyes, but he kind of just stares upwards at the ceiling really slowly and walks away.
Clara puts her hand on top.
Of course she is. I'm gonna need an answer from all of you.
Ormanganda puts his hand out and just notices that his hand is much bigger than Zoe's, but smaller than Face's, and looks a little bit irritated.
It's like a tiny paw sandwich.
Yeah. She?
Yeah, I was out of there. I was out of there before he even put his hand out.
Yeah, like Blaz left through the door that you'd left open.
Clem
Understood.
definitely puts his hand in, though, right? Surely, Clem.
Clem's in there. Clem's in there for sure.
Not the
Hey,
tiniest
1, 2, 3,
hand.
Go team!
Yay!
Does Dr. Helsing put his hand in as well?
Dr. Helsing's still downstairs in the cargo bay.
Oh!
He's a refugee.
No!
Dr.
No, Dr. Helsing isn't. Dr. Helsing, like, from this point onward, Dr. Helsing is with me at all
He's a
times.
VIP guest of all.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have to
He's-
clarify
he's-
in future, then, aren't you? You're gonna have to make this
Sorry,
clear for me.
he's under the protection of the Vescarium, as represented by me.
Okay,
do you think
folks.
we should try and find him some
He's
mental
not
health?
being sold into slavery. Even if anybody else gets sold into
Nobody
slavery.
is.
No one's
Nobody's
getting
in-
sold into slavery.
I thought my dad sold him into slavery, Face.
I am going to need to take in a second a very quick break.
I thought we were just pretending to
I
be-
warned they might come a little quicker than normal. What I'd like you to think about is if there are any more questions you want to ask about the diaspora, please ask away. Some questions might not have an answer. Some of these places, people might not know. Other than
have
by
a
name,
question,
perhaps reputation.
I do have some salt to rub in a wound.
Oh yeah.
If you keep talking about selling people into slavery, considering how it was that I met Izzet, pretty sure it's an insult to his death.
And on that bombshell, we're gonna take. we're gonna let.
Ormgandus lost many comments and he goes, "Is who?"
Oh, we're gonna let this tumbleweed sweep across the living area of the Rusty Mustang. Everyone can just sit and dwell on that
I'm
for
about
just a
to get
second.
a little bit less empathetic. Oh yeah.
Well, hey, gang, couldn't help but notice, my usually very quiet midbay appears to have an awful lot of test tubes of blood in it. I mean, hey, I ain't complaining, you got your reasons, I'm sure, but, anything I should know?
Just medical checks.
Yeah.
No, come on, we gotta tell them.
Medical checks for what, exactly? I don't
I
know
trust
whether you
Blaz.
noticed,
I'm
but
with
down
Blaz.
there on the planet, things were getting pretty crazy. And I'd like to keep the crazy planets out, if that's all right with you.
We're worried some of the refugees might be shape-shifting aliens.
Son of a bitch.
I can't believe you did that, man.
How many exactly are we talking about here?
Who knows?
It's just a
None.
precaution, Clem.
Probably
Don't
none.
We
panic.
did the blood tests. None of them have got, reptoid blood. You're fine.
Well,
Oh, they
that's...
might.
I'm containing my paranoia here to try.
We're gonna
find out.
keep an eye on the blood to make sure nothing changes, but it looks like none of them are reptoids. It was just a precaution.
Okay, well, as long as it's just a precaution, you guys are confident, nothing or no one could have gotten aboard without you guys knowing about it, right?
Although
I'm gonna
We've got
keep
this
an
place
eye
locked
out just
down.
in
we,
case.
I don't want to add to she's paranoia, but we did split up a few times.
Oh shit.
Uncomfortable
I think we should all
silence.
test. I think we should all we should test all of our blood as well.
Agreed. I think the captain's right. We need to test.
Not really a big fan of needles, but I'll do it.
Ormgander scratches his head and goes, "My blood's thicker than Icarus anyway."
Yeah, my blood's gold, by the way. Just if you didn't know.
Okay, so
bragging,
we'll know to
kittens, man.
expect
Blood is
gold,
gold.
not black.
We're really finding things out about each other today, aren't we?
I'm pretty sure last time I checked, my blood was blood colored, but I'm happy to show you
Isn't your blood blue or something? It's
mine.
not red, isn't it? Yeah,
don't
isn't
think
blacker
so.
blood blue or something?
I don't. Now you're having me question my own race. I have no idea. I don't think so.
Okay, hold up a second.
Hang on.
Blaz,
I have the information.
Blaz backs up into a corner of the room so that he can encompass everyone in the same cone and casts Detect Magic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As you do so, there is a residual glow of magic around she and Clara. Just a little faint aura that only you detect.
Laz rolls for initiative.
really taking
We
the reins.
recently
there.
cast spells.
Wait, don't I always radiate some magic because of my entropy?
I don't believe so.
You'd
Okay.
be able to see my overlapping forms probably, because that's always on, which is just literally lots of me's from other universes all overlapping.
In that case, Blaz, everyone has an aura around them.
Yeah. We're all magical as fuck. There's no.
You just see like this Goku black flame surrounding Ormanganda.
Okay, this worries me deeply. I'm going to need a blood sample from each of you.
I mean, I already suggested that.
Anyway,
I just bite my own arm and then pour some
Yeah.
blood out.
Ormanganda just
Damn.
slits his arm and just gives
I
him
was
some
waiting
blood.
to use a blood test kit. Christ's sake, guys.
Yeah, I'll
No.
wait for the needle.
I'm not having you stab me with anything. I'll do it myself.
I don't have the patience.
Am
I'm
I
just
the
gonna
only
shave my
one
blood.
that... Am I the only one that's happy to have Blast stabbing?
You're the most chaotic crew.
No, I tell you what, he'll just bite his tongue and spit some blood into a petri dish or whatever.
Wow, there's blood just flying all around the kitchen of the of the Rusty Mustang.
So unsanitary.
Yeah, Clem looks like kind of relieved that everybody's so ready to give up blood, but also a little bit like Jarl is gonna kill me.
I'll volunteer to clean it up.
Okay. Your blood all emerges in the colour that you would all expect.
Lacquer's blood is not blue. I'm pretty sure. There is nothing on either of the information pages I have that says about them having blue blood.
Normal blood
I-
then.
It all appears as you would expect.
We're safe.
Blaz collects the samples and stores them in an organised way in medbay anyway. I'm assuming there was no magical aura around Clem, by the way.
No.
Clem's normal.
Clem's very normal. He's the most normal out of all of you.
It's not difficult
It's
though,
not
is
hard.
it?
Low bar.
Very low.
Okay, folks. So, we're gonna fire up the drift drives here. I take it I'm heading to the diaspora.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay then. And Clem shuffles back off upstairs to go and break the news to Yarla and fill her in on what's going on. Shortly afterwards, you hear the sound of the drift drives firing up, and you notice a noticeable, fairly low key, but a noticeable clamour coming from the cargo bay downstairs.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna bring at least Blaz
I'm
with me,
coming with you.
and I want to address the people.
As you emerge into the cargo bay, there is a general murmuring. Everybody here knows the sound of drift engines. They recognise that you're spooling up, and there is some concern. Nobody's told them anything about where you're going or why.
So, I'm just
Can we
gonna.
grab Rubio?
I'm sure Rubio's.
Rubio's down there
Gathered.
with the refugees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just say, hey guys, I know it's been a bit of a difficult one with all the planet getting fucked up and everyone, having to leave. Because of the amount of people on the ship and we've got supplies, but they're not going to last forever. We've decided to get us to the closest place that we can stop off, stock up, get ourselves sorted. So don't worry. We're all going to be okay for now. No one can expect perfect conditions in events such as this, but we're doing what we can. yeah, everyone, try and settle in. If you can, try not to, try and monitor your ration so no one goes without anything. But we don't want to run out too quickly. Okay, guys.
Whoa! Run out! There's a ripple of you're doing a good job of conveying information, but there is some concern. They're like, where are we going? What do you mean run out? How long are we going to be stuck on here for? A whole load of questions start flying at you.
I'm gonna roar at them, and if they don't shut up, then I'll.
Wait, I can do my empathic communication and emit calming energy to them all instead.
Well,
That's a much
let's
better
combine those because
You want to terrify
Roar
them while
So-
I'm trying to calm
A
them.
nice calming roar.
well.
Can
Why
I?
don't you just
Can you?
breathe
Do you,
fire at them?
why don't I do an intimidate check to assist your intimidate check, and then you can intimidate?
I've not said
with
anything
your
about
dragony
checks
powers.
yet.
Yeah,
I've not said anything about checks
I
yet.
just want to be louder than they are, so
So
they
he's,
shut up.
Okay.
so he's having an
That's-
actual
I
breakdown.
just want to get off the ship.
Listen.
I have an aneurysm.
Guys,
They're all nuts.
guys, settle down. Face. You are trying to mollify the crowd. Please give me a diplomacy check. If anybody would like to assist,
Boo.
if anybody would like to assist him in his diplomacy check, say now, and I'll let you aid him. So you have to go first. Who is anybody going to help Face with his diplomacy check?
No, if he's
I-
gonna
That's not
roar
great.
at
Well,
me,
no, because this is part of the. He said himself. He's
this
just
is
trying to
the
get his
talking
voice.
part?
He's trying to get his voice over the top of the crowd.
I'll-
If you want to
I'll
help him with a
help with the
diplomacy,
diplomacy
check,
check.
you can do.
Unless one of you guys wants to help.
Give me a DC 10 diplomacy check, please, Sam.
My diplomacy's +8.
Oh, okay. 23.
Okay, that is that that's not a nat 20 though, is it?
No, sorry, no, not so, 21, not 23. 21.
Okay, you can add +2 to your diplo check when you do it, Face. Clara, I'll let you do an assist as well.
Well, that didn't go very well because I dropped the dice way before I meant to. That's an 11.
11. Okay, it's still a pass,
Still
so
passes.
that's a +4.
Just.
You've got to your diplo check there, Face. So go ahead.
Okay.
Thank fuck for +8 diplomacy. Jesus.
Me too.
I went to go like that and I just went, boom.
Well,
We've all been there.
I got 12 on my roll, so 16.
Thankfully, the crowd, while concerned, were not unfriendly towards you before you started this. You are still, the people who got them off the planet. So you did have that going in your favour. So that is enough to sort of calm them down. And you can start taking questions one at a time. The first question that really sort of resonates in the cargo bay is, where are we going?
Okay, guys, look, we have set course for now for the Diastra belt. There is a choice of places that we can go to, which we will confer with you on if you're willing to be agreeable and not, we don't want anyone fighting each other here. We are limited options right now, but once we stock up and we can get to other places, it'll be, So for right now, we're headed for Diastra. We are going to, try and find the safest spot for everyone while we're there.
There's the next big question that seems to be emanating from the crowd is, well, how long is this going to take? We'll stock up. What are we running out of? That's the.
Well, I mean, we're not running out right now, but if we wanted to do a week's journey, then that's clearly not going to be able to happen without stocking up. So we're going to get to Diastra. What did Clem say? Like 2 days?
It's within a day or two, depending on how well the navigation goes.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get to our destination in about a day and a half, 2 days. We should definitely be okay for that amount of time. So Just try not to overeat, and we'll be okay. That's all I'm saying.
It's not as comforting as you hoped it would be.
I'd rather tell them the truth than.
Yeah. They respond relatively well, at least knowing where they're headed. Having some information seems to have sort of calmed the situation for the time being.
Nice.
Everybody's chattering amongst themselves. There's a lot of discussion, some small arguments, but they're a hardy bunch. These miners, they're used to tough conditions. They're not prima donnas. They start to make the cargo bay, comfortable for the next couple of days, and start splitting into groups with the help of Rubio. You see Osha floating around as well, sort of just chatting to people. Kind of. If Rubio's seems to be the de facto kind of tactical leader at this stage, then Osha is certainly the sort of community leader, you would say, and them two between them seem to be splitting up the group and putting everybody to work, putting everybody's mind at ease, keeping them focused on the task at hand. So for now, the situation seems under control.
Good.
Laz approaches Osha, and once she's done dictating tasks and reassuring people, says, "How you doing? Is there anything you need?"
Well, a little more room wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah, it's a little bit close in here. Unfortunately, we offloaded the supplies to fit everyone on board, which is why this little pit stop's needed.
Yeah, look, I've been around, and she just takes you off to one side for a moment, has a quiet word. I didn't exactly come down in the last blizzard. I can tell there's some things you're not sharing with us, and, well, I respect that. It's a difficult situation, but is there anything I should know?
So the most immediate question is where we go in the Diaspora. This is a cargo ship, and the captain, not a huge fan of putting into a free port that's known for smugglers and pirates. So if anyone in the group knows any kind of safe harbor or friendly faces in the Diaspora, that would be a really helpful start.
Well, there's a fair few mines out there. Depends what you're looking to buy. But I can ask around. What is it exactly we're looking for there?
So the main problem is going to be CO2 filtration. For a ship of this size with this many people on board, making it to Absalom is not really an option unless we find some way of transiting people along with us or upgrading the CO2 filtration of the ship, or we find somewhere safe that we can, house people temporarily and do some shuttle runs to get them where they need to go. This is not the ideal vessel to spend a week on in the drift trying to get back to Absalom, put it like that.
Well, I hear you. Personally, I've always wanted to go to Songbird, but that's just me. But maybe it's not the best place for us to head, given our current predicament.
Songbird? Tell me more about Songbird.
Well, you must have heard of Songbird Station. It's the best place to see live music at this side of Absalom. It's kind of like
really?
It's kind of like a cross between an arena and a cathedral. It's all those temple tops. They follow that Shaylin. She's apparently a goddess of art, beauty, and music. It's kind of like a cross between a venue and a temple. Not exactly the sort of place you're gonna pick up ship parts or touch down for any long period of time, but I'd always wanted to see it.
At the mention of a goddess, Blaz goes a little bit cold and is like, oh.
Not much of a music fan, huh?
Don't really go in for religion.
Ah, I see. Well, you know, they're not all made the same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll mention it to the rest of the team. If you could ask around and see if anyone else knows friendly ports where we might be able to call in at Diaspora. Other than that, Songbird is as good a suggestion as we've got so far.
Well, I'll ask around. See you soon, Bright Eyes.
See you, Osha.
I'm dying inside.
Can't believe...
Can't believe you just snubbed Osha.
Yeah, she's going to have to find somebody else to go and take her to see Strawberry Machine Cake.
He's Andrew Tating.
Oh God.
I'll tell you what, if anyone... in fact, does anybody want to give me a quick culture check?
I'll do it.
Go on then.
Oh, culture check. That was so almost a 20, but it's a 15 instead.
Strawberry Machine Cake are Sugar Pop Sensations. And they recently played a sellout show at Songbird Station to rave reviews.
Laz relays Osha's suggestion to the team.
You would, and you know what? Yeah, and actually, as the suggestion is being relayed, obviously, Face. That's when your knowledge. You're like, oh, strawberry machine cake. Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's supposed to be very good.
I've heard of those guys. They they did a pretty good show recently. I heard.
And Blas, you can't help but think, oh, never would have seen Osha as being a Sugar Pop fan. She seemed a little bit edgier than that. Interesting.
Yeah,
just a little character point, just a bit of world building for you.
Doesn't sound like a very important detour.
No. What if she's a reptoid and she's leading us into a trap?
You think that's just like a subtle clue I've planted? It's like
I'm glad I'm
she
not
would
the
never
only
listen
one
to
that
Strawberry
thought that.
Machine Cake.
I'm just looking at the evidence.
I am
I'd
messed
ask
up
you
enough to do it.
questions,
You know
my
I am.
brain went,
If you need me to do a more thorough examination of Osha, that can be
yeah.
arranged.
I bet it
man,
can
no.
be. Then it really will be an OSHA violation.
I keep forgetting that gag every week. Anytime you come up with it, sorry, it's just like new to me. Okay. So, is there anything else anybody wants to do right now, or do we push on?
I'll say, yeah,
There's-
Clem, do
there's-
you want to play some... What are they called again? Strawberry...
Machine Cake.
I'm like, Clem, why didn't you pipe some strawberry machine cake over the tunnel just to keep everyone calm and up-tempo?
Sorry. This is okay. You're just like radioing into the guy, are you?
Yeah.
I think we should make sure that somebody's kind of watching the refugees all the time. We can maybe...
No volunteered
Sit
there.
with them.
Strawberry
I'll
machine
take
cake?
first watch.
What are you talking about? Give me something with some harmonica or something. None of this poppy nonsense.
That's all Clem has to say.
Can I check to see if I know any country music from this galaxy?
Yeah, no,
Space
no,
Country.
Jay,
Yeah,
can I be like, have you heard of a Vesk band called Steeler's Wheel? They were really big in the 70s.
Right. You know what? Okay.
Pandora's box, hasn't he?
For a start, yes, Face, you can give me a culture check quickly.
23.
23. Okay. You just start humming back over the comms some kind of space country, and I will give you a... if you can come up with a good enough music pun for the name of this artist, there will be an unexpected bonus at some point this episode.
Okay, I'm gonna think of one then.
I'll give you a minute while I check in with the rest of the team. Anything else anybody wants to do while we're in this at this fork in the road?
Buzz is going to nip back up to the med bay and just double check the blood samples, make sure nothing's gone awry.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to give me a quick perception check?
Perception check. Oh shit.
And when you sorry, no, actually scratch that. Nothing gone awry. What are you doing with these blood samples?
Well, they're all nicely labelled and organised.
Yep.
I want to make sure that none of them on first appearance were as they should not be. I want to make sure that that has not changed, and I want to make sure that none of them have been removed or tampered with.
Okay. In that case, no perception check required. Nothing's been tampered with, as far as you can see. Nothing has changed colour, bubbled over, caught fire, anything like that. It's just a lot of tubes of blood.
Guess I should maybe start doing some tests on these. I got very little else to do in transit.
Is that true?
No, not at all.
I'll let you have a think about that while we move on. Anyone else want to do anything?
Guys, we probably need to try and contact Aldous and let him know what's going on.
Sure, you want to send a communique? Fire away. Let me know. So this is one-way transmission. It's packet-based. It's going to take a little while to go through. But yeah, if you want to send a message to Aldous, let me know what record your vid message for me.
Captain, do you want to do it?
You can do it if you want. Do you want me to do it instead?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I feel so poorly. Not in character like me as a person.
Just lean into it, make out it's like the cold weather. You got a cold down there on Cryonis, and you just feeling the weather. Just lean into your truth. You know what I mean?
She has expressed some distaste for Aldous in this trip, so Clara wouldn't be that shocked if you asked her to do it instead. To be fair.
Clara, can you just do it, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she'll just like, oh god, I don't even. Yeah, she'll just say to him, you know, like give a quick rundown of like what we did. Like, there were some ice elementals. There was a weird element. There was some shapeshifters. We had to escort everyone off the planet because I'm pretty sure it was about to fuck itself. She didn't say it. She wouldn't put it that way, but like, you know, more Clara words, and then just say we're on our way back. We've got to stop off somewhere first for supplies.
So you include basically a full mission report. Can I ask, is there anything you omit? You know, like you're summarising the whole trip, I would guess. Is there anything you don't add? Is there anything you don't include to Aldous?
Not. She's just giving kind of the bullet points.
Okay.
But she's also going to add on the end, like, P.S. I'd like to talk to you in private when we get back.
Okay. Sent. Okay.
James, if I guard the med bay, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to come and tamper with it, but it might be an idea for you to link up those guns as a priority in case we get jumped coming out into, yeah.
Fair point. I've also got some armor to adapt at some point, but that'll take a day.
I will say that you guys, it would potentially be worth. In fact, let's skip ahead to this bit. So, a day of busy work done. Blaz, you've been doing some work in the med bay. What's your focus been today? Like, let's say day 1 of 2. We're making pretty good time. It's going to take about 2 days. Obviously, the first day was spent largely just testing everybody. Now you spent a day in the drift. What has been the focus of your first day on the journey to the diaspora?
We still don't know where we're going, so I imagine Blaz would be doing whatever he could do to research potential diaspora destinations.
Okay. There is definitely some information that I can relay to you separately. At the moment, it seems like your best bets are probably either Nisus, because it's a decent-sized set of colonies. It's about 600 miles wide. Ice-encrusted planetoid. It's home to several colonies of Sarcesians, who are underwater humanoids, who inhabit underwater dome settlements attached to the underside of the ice. It's largely focused on hydrogen extraction and gas turbines, and there are sort of three big cities are Ahilera, Mersha, and VampZoe. The residents of all three settlements always need to be ready to desert their homes and hole up in dozens of small bunkers on Nisus's surface, because there are some pretty gargantuan aquatic predators within the planetoid's inner sea, and when they decide to attack the domes en masse, it's get out of dodge time. It's a pretty popular spot for xenobiologists. They suggest that the gigantic coral reef that floats within the planet, dubbed the Brood Nest, is the main source of the hostile life, although no one's ever really gotten close enough to the reef to fully explore it and confirm those theories. They're also renowned... The waters of Nisus are also renowned for being the starting point of this bizarre cosmic phenomenon. I'm actually going to pull that up on screen for the viewers at home. Not that one. That one. No, not that one either. Come on. Come on. Oh, for Pete's sake. There it is. Oh, click. There we go. Right. So, as you can see, Nisus is... as much as this means anything in space, is towards the south of the diaspora, this asteroid belt, and emanating out from Nisus is what the locals call the River Between. The River Between is quite a fascinating cosmic phenomenon. It's a serpentine river of liquid water that snakes its way through the diaspora. It's actually how the inhabitants of the diaspora used to get around. It's a sort of rushing waterway contained in this cylindrical containment field of completely unknown origin, but it is hypothesized that it emanates from Nisus itself. Legends claim that the River Between was constructed shortly after the destruction of Daimar and Iovo, which are the moons that the breaking up of which formed the diaspora. It's the remnants of these planetoids that broke up, we think, a long time ago. And the current theory or legend is that beings from the plane of water attempted to lay claim to this newly formed asteroid field and created the River Between. Either way, it was the secrets of this were lost in the gap. But it was used as a safe means of travel between certain asteroids for centuries until the advent of interplanetary travel in these parts. So you can pretty much sail a boat down this river through open space in this tube-like, flume-like containment field. Other things you learn is that in recent years, the waters have started to turn sort of dark and fetid. Something's happening to the River Between, and sailors have begun to go missing on their voyages along it. A few survivors have returned to the sort of Sarcesian crash worlds around Nisus, claiming they were attacked from below by terrible serpents. And in fact, the Sarcesians have petitioned the stewards, who are kind of like almost like kind of peacekeepers, like an interplanetary kind of army, to do something about these diaspora worms, which have been spotted on the River Between's in the River Between's waters by some sources. But so far, the stewards' fact-finding missions have met with little success, and they found no sign of these mysterious creatures. So yeah, that's Nisus. The other place that was of particular interest was the Farabarium, which is probably which is another kind of, it's about as safe a port as you can find around these parts. Like Clem said, it was it's a pretty humongous ship that has been salvaged by a band of entrepreneurial Yusoki. Obviously, it befell a pretty brutal fate in a confrontation with an Eoxian, like an undead cruiser, years ago. But yeah, this group of Yusoki's salvagers, called the Shursak Kaya, laid claim to the damaged ship and were able to bring the vessel back online within a couple of years. It's got pretty significant firepower and a lot of room on the Farabarium, so they decided to put down roots and operate like as a trade hub and a salvage way station. They negotiated a pretty lucrative protection deal with the free captains. So essentially, the free captains leave them alone, but they offer like kind of priority maintenance to all free captain vessels throughout the diaspora. And it's now a pretty well-known hotspot for trade activity, and pretty noteworthy pit stop for travellers who are kind of scouring the asteroid belt. That was the bulk of your research today. That's what you've managed to find out. You've been kind of focused on the safer harbours, and that's your choices. Moving on, Ormaganda, how have you spent your day in the drift? What's your focus been?
Well, I was hoping that Laz was going to fix the guns. So can I try and do something to fix the guns? Or can I ask Yala to link the guns?
You still have another day in transit, so there is time
to do it.
There is time for you guys to do another thing.
Okay. I don't know if there's anything. Is there anything useful that I can do, really? I mean, because I don't want to do anything sort of massively physical and sort of contribute to using up the CO2. So maybe I'll just be meditating then.
Okay.
In my room.
Read a book on why slavery is bad.
You can do some tail sitting.
Yeah, I'll go do some practicing tail sitting with So I'll go to Face's room, and we can do some practicing like tail sitting.
This is like the beginning of the. This is how we get our the draconic. The bond. Yeah. Yeah. This is the start of it.
And Face can explain to me why like both the captain and our good friend Laz are so offended by the notion of eating some of our passengers, and also why we're not allowed to sell them into slavery.
I just want to. You all know. You've all already been told that Clara was almost sold into slavery.
I know that. I know that. But like, the problem is that
in character,
Clara used to straight up be a slave.
Ormaganda is not an empathetic person. Do you understand? Like, he's a stoic. He's a Marcus Aurelius character.
He's literally out here to learn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but he's receptive. He's open to knowledge. So, because Face is his good blood, Face is going to explain to him why we're not allowed to eat anyone, and we're not allowed to sell anyone into slavery. While we practice our tail sitting. That's what we're doing. Building, growing as a person.
Yeah.
Okay, Face. How about you?
Yeah, I am going to do my best to explain to Ormaganda why we can't eat everybody.
Sometimes eating's not the answer.
Yeah, we can eat some people, just not everybody. And
eating's always the answer.
I'm gonna explain to him in sort of the most logical terms why we can't. I want to appeal to the logic side and not the empathy side. I'm gonna explain in logical terms why we can't sell them into slavery. and hope he gets it.
And why is that?
Because basically they are not our property, even though we did rescue them from a dangerous situation. That doesn't make them our property, so we don't really have the authority or ownership to be able to sell them as slaves. Plus, people
Would the captain have authority to sell them as slaves?
The captain wouldn't, no, because they are not part of her crew.
I would also imagine that Face would identify the fact that there are about 100 of them and 5 of you.
Yeah, I don't see that as a problem though.
These are hardy miner types. I think you're underestimating. The refugees there. I mean,
I'm also going.
They literally chiseled out ore on an ice planet for years.
I'm also going to explain that while people, while it is a good thing that they would be working as slaves, they do deserve some recompense for that. They shouldn't just be slaves. They should actually earn something for their work and not just, work till they die for nothing.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Anything else apart from just keeping Ormaganda in check? Anything else that Face has been up to on his first day?
I am also gonna be sort of doing some physical science research, if possible.
Into what? Interesting.
Into I'm particularly interested in the Archon's halo. I want to see if I can get any information on that and the vortex that's by them.
Okay, so in your research, the vortex is a pretty fascinating anomaly in this part of space. Clem's sort of nerves around it, as you look into it, seem founded. Known as Havanak's vortex, it's one of the most dangerous hazards of the diaspora, and it's a gravitational phenomenon. It's roughly a planet-sized gravity well that sporadically appears twice annually for anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes, just a couple of times a year. But when it does appear, it funnels all matter within a 10,000-mile radius into this maelstrom. The vortex gets its name from a human astronomer, an explorer, and a devotee of Ibra, who was the first to enter the rift and return, a chap called Azarian Havanak. That's where it gets its name. He spoke of a bizarre space station forged of raw willpower and inhabited by Proteans, the Maelstrom's chaos-living inhabitants. Havanak described the space station as an amalgam of structures, different building styles, different construction materials, and since his return, him and a few others have made several trips into the vortex, returning with these increasingly disturbing stories of the Proteans' activities on their space station, as well as strange relics from the Maelstrom. But about a decade ago, Havanak went on a trip, never came back, and since then no one's been brave enough to travel into it. But that hasn't stopped people studying it, and the Archon's halo is a militarized research station, and it's located just near the accretion disk of the vortex. It's not operated by any one government. Archon's halo is instead maintained by a sect of the Church of Elerito, and they're called the Disciples of the Sixth Rune. It's a strictly Lashunta sect of Elerito's church, and it's obsessed with studying not only Havanak's vortex, but also the gravitational anomaly of the Phantom Rift, which you've also had a little look into, and the ship graveyard, which you'll also find here at the Diaspora. They're very interested in weird spatial phenomenon.
Because me being a witch warper and being able to get into other realities, that seems like a place for me.
Yeah, well, the Disciples of the Sixth Rune have really advanced magical and technological talents, and have a lot of technomancers amongst their number. However, the stewards have classified the sect as a hostile organisation, and most encounters with the disciples have resulted in catastrophic losses of life. They do have one public-facing representative, though, a female Demaya Lashunta, who's an envoy / technomancer called Galia Co. And she professes to hold the title of Dark Glyph within the Way. She occasionally makes diplomatic appeals to the Pack Council when things boil over and when tensions get a bit too high. However, she does have her own. She seems to have her own agenda and is somewhat of a mysterious figure. And what was the other thing you were looking into? You were looking into basically all of the strange spatial stuff, weren't you? I suppose the other one is the Phantom Rift. It's pretty close to the orbital path of the Diaspora. There's a point in space that's got a fixed distance from the sun, and it's a stellar anomaly that looks like kind of like a heat mirage against the blackness of space, and it distorts anything that passes behind it. It's about 7,000 miles across, generally spherical, about the size of a planet. And vessels that pass through it don't seem to suffer any ill effects, but sometimes passengers complain of like brief bouts of dizziness. Some scholars think that the Phantom Rift is like an after image of a gigantic portal to another dimension. But according to those theories, the aliens that may have passed through this portal may well have seeded the galaxy with the first samples of life and then fucked back off again. Some pretty out there scientists study it and hope to maybe open the portal once again and contact this unknown race. But they're pretty fringe. The only other interesting kind of spatial anomaly around here is wherever it is, the spaceship graveyard. Give me a second, and I'll tell you what it says. Can't find it. There's a spaceship graveyard. Don't go there. It's really dodgy.
Is it a graveyard for the spaceship?
Pretty much, yeah. It's called the Hum. And it's outside the inhabited areas of the Diaspora, but it's like this sprawling graveyard of spaceships that dates back before anyone can remember. If a vessel comes within like 1,000 miles of the graveyard, it becomes like kind of permeated with this subsonic hum that gradually becomes audible to most species. Creatures that are exposed to this noise become increasingly erratic and prone to tempestuous emotional outbursts. Weirdly enough, you guys are far away that shouldn't be affecting you, and yet.
So it's like the Bermuda Triangle with extra steps.
You get in the vibe, yeah. Also, like, astronavigation is like negatively impacted by the hum. So sensors start to go weird, returning like false positive readings of incoming objects and behaving kind of sporadically. By the time you can hear it, most ships have begun to sort of vibrate sympathetically with the noise, and unless the crew are able to kind of divert away, you get total loss of hull integrity. Ship vibrates to pieces. People who've tried to explore it got nowhere, fruitless endeavour. And even ships whose hulls survive the noise still suffer like catastrophic crew loss from all the psychological breaks brought on by the hum. So, and at present, the source of it is unknown. So there you go.
Well,
that's what you've managed to find out.
Won't be going there then.
Wouldn't be top of my list. Clara, first day. Got headphones back on now. Clara,
Sorry.
what have you been up to day one?
The 1 minute that I take my headset off.
That'll teach you.
I was cold.
What have you been up to?
So I guess
Oh.
she has been patrolling around the refugees, kind of thinking someone needs to keep an eye on them, given that nobody else seems to care. But she's kind of happy with that because she wants to be on her own. She's feeling a bit rough and she prefers to be on her own anyway.
Yeah.
In my downtime, I've been trying to research a little bit more about what might have happened on Cryonis and the phenomenon related to that. I don't have a great knowledge of physics. All of my science checks are awful. But I'm giving it a go anyway because it interested me.
Okay. Yeah, well, partly in conversations with, I mean, you maybe take Yala to one side. She's been, she's a talented pilot, has seen a fair amount of spatial anomalies in her time. Maybe have a little chat with Face as well. You start to get your head around a little bit more what had happened. The element that was, so at the centre of that whole incident. You're starting to realise the value of it now. You understand a little bit more about how it works, that by essentially controlling the energy that flows through it, you can change the sort of space-time signature of something that contains it. So, for instance, you could make a ship lighter. You could give it, you could move it with, you could control the gravity field around it to propel it. And potentially, from at least what Yala and Face have kind of pointed in the direction you offer, you get the impression that enough of this stuff in one place could potentially punch a hole straight through space-time. You could use it to get from one place to the other even quicker than drift travel would allow you to do. The value of it, certainly as somebody with some, should we say, a skeptical mind, you can certainly see how on the open market it would be worth an awful lot, and in the wrong hands could be incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
You also managed to determine that looking back over your PCU recordings and having had time to kind of decompress and actually think about it, the ship was not buried there. While the ship may have been there multiple times over the years, certainly the markers, the monoliths, would imply that this was a sacred spot that had been around a long time. It wasn't crashed. It wasn't, and it wasn't entombed. You get the impression that it had returned not so long ago. There was ultimately space. It was almost like a void underground that it had somehow managed to get itself into, like a ship in a bottle. And you start to wonder whether or not it self-destructed or potentially left the way it came. Of course, you'd no way to be sure, but you certainly find yourself with that thought. And
Definitely thinking we should go to those coordinates that we got. We need to investigate it further.
And yeah, if you you start to pick at again, wafting it under the nose of your party mates. You make some progress in narrowing down those coordinates. You're not there yet. You don't have a hard and fast destination, but you're zoning in on the location.
Awesome.
Cool. Claza?
Okay, so Clara's also going to want to spend some time with the refugees, so she'll just kind of do shifts with she. In her, whenever she's traveling like to around the ship, she's going to purposely detour via the med bay to kind of nervously check on the blood samples, paying extra especially close attention to her own because she's super fucking nervous. And then yeah, just in her downtime she's gonna try to read, but she's gonna be a lot quieter and a lot more shut away even than she usually is. Just trying to read her novels, but not really able to focus on much because she's had so many thoughts going around in her head that she hasn't really been able to process yet.
Give me a life science check.
Oh boy.
And if you want to enlist anyone's help in this, you can.
No, got 22.
You scrutinise your own blood sample for a long time, and you're not a doctor. You're not a xenobiologist, but you spend a long time on it, and everything you know about reptoids leads you to believe I'm not a reptoid. They knew what they were. They were infiltrators. And your blood is Vlaka blood. There's enough information here on the ship is... It travels around, it's a cargo ship. It has a huge quantity of downloads from various systems that it's been to. There's enough kind of, Encyclopedia Galactica content on here for you to be able to identify that the blood that you took earlier is genetically Vlaka. And as disturbing as those dreams were, and that sense of familiarity you got when you were on the ship, clearly you have some connection to whatever was going on in that ship. You definitely feel that. It hasn't kind of put that at ease. But you, after some time spent looking into it, you can finally sort of rest a little easier. Confident that I'm not a reptoid. You know who you are.
Cool, that's not her only paranoia, but at least it's one of them crossed off.
Good. Okay. I mean, it wouldn't be my game if you weren't all really paranoid about what the fuck I'm up to.
There are at least like 10 other things she's worried about that they could have done to her while she was frozen, but at least that one's crossed off.
Cool.
Yay.
Good. And as the day kind of starts to, the day on the ship starts to come to a close, the refugees downstairs are starting to sort of settle down. They've completed their day's tasks. They've organised themselves pretty well. I mean, it's a tight-knit community, They've been used to living in each other's pockets and a small colony for years. So really, you couldn't hope for a better group of people to be navigating their way through this particularly difficult situation. You guys are obviously in a position to retire upstairs, start making your own preparations for the night. Clem and Yala make their way down to the living room to find you sort of gathering and working out what you're going to do for the rest of the evening. And Clem looks around you. He's like,
well, quite a day. We seem to be making good time, though. No problems up in the bridge, so I think we're not long and gonna hit the hay. But anybody fancy a quick game of cards or something before bed? Couldn't help but notice some of you guys coming back with some interesting little trinkets. I don't mind making a little bit interesting.
What have you got?
I don't gamble.
Well,
I'm gonna go check the refugees, I think, maybe.
Well, hey, all right, if you're gonna be all boring about it, you keep your stuff, but come on, show old
Boring?
at least show old Clem what you got. I mean, I'm a pack rat. I like to see people's stuff.
Okay, yeah. Let's show him the loot.
I'm gonna show him my boom knuckles.
Oh, they're real nice.
I'm gonna show him the sniper rifle if he's not careful.
I'm just gonna go back to my room and read.
This I would say is a good opportunity for you guys to dump your loot on the living room table and potentially just discuss briefly amongst yourselves about. I'm just aware that you've got a day before you touch down, which is enough time to potentially adapt some stuff, potentially install some stuff, potentially repair some stuff. You don't really know this area of space very well, so I'd like to give you this opportunity to potentially compare your loot and give you an opportunity to make sure that the right loot is in the right adventurer's hands. This is a good time, I would suggest, to work out what your guys' stashes are, and whether or not you're like kind of happy with what everybody's got. Do a bit of swap-a-ruin, maybe get a little bit of adapting, a little bit of upgrading done. So I'm going to leave you with that just for a few minutes because I just need to pop off again for a second. So yes, you guys do that, and I'll be back in just a tick. All right.
So I'll make some suggestions. You already used that magical ability crystal, didn't you, Face?
That is, I selfishly.
No, that's fine, man. I know. Yeah, you needed to do. Yeah, you needed to do your dex because it's holding back your armor class.
Yeah.
We've got some Lashunta Temp Weave armor, which I'm going to suggest should go to you, Ellie. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. I would like that. She's just going to ask Blaz if he would mind just adapting that.
Poor Blaz is going to have to do a lot of armor adapting. So there's James. Has James fallen asleep? He looks like he's
still
fallen
with
asleep.
you.
Oh, sorry, man. Do you have shield proficiency?
No.
Okay. So what I'm going to suggest is that, there's this kind of weird electric deterrence scale, but it's a shield, so you have to have shield proficiency to use it. So until you obtain that, I may as well retain it for the time being. Otherwise I'd be happy for you to take it. You can still take it if you want. It's just that I don't think you can use it very effectively.
I can't use it, no.
Right. If I can take what was that armor? The auto encoding veil.
Yeah.
Then that frees up my armor, which is actually pretty good. It's I just have a quick look. What's my armor? So my armor's clear weave 1, which is +3. What's yours at the moment, guys? I don't know who might want to take that. It's light armor. I don't think it has any penalties or armor checks. Is anyone interested in it?
Mine's +2.
Captain doesn't have.
Yeah, what have you got, Clara? What have we all got in terms of armor? Because I'm just conscious
I've got clear weave 2.
Oh, you've got clear weave 2.
No, sorry, I've got clear weave
You've got
as
weave
well.
already.
I've got second skin.
So what's your second skin give you? I suspect it's not as good as the clear weave.
Oh my god, I've
Plus
not
1.
looked at the armor stats in
Right.
so long. Yeah,
So-
sure. What James said.
Yeah, right. So
Thanks, James.
so
Okay. I'll just go back to sleep.
I'm going to suggest in the interim.
That wasn't a
um,
sarcastic thanks. That was a genuine
no.
thanks. I
So
had no idea what I was looking at.
So if you take the clear weave,
Oh, my phone was
Zoe. James has already got clear weave. Ali's got the Lashunta. Face, what have you got at the moment?
Freebooter armor.
What's that? +2,
+2, +3.
+2, +3. Okay, that's not too bad. But we need to up armor you next.
Clear weave 1, right?
Yeah. And I'll take the auto encoding veil just because that makes me a little bit more tanky. And then what else did we get? We got
Does anyone want this?
We got an elemental crystal, I think.
right. I don't know how that works. Is that something that it's a magical thing?
No clue.
The elemental crystal contains an elemental. In this case, it's a
Water.
Yeah, you can
Water
summon an elemental with it.
Yeah.
Can anyone do that?
Yes.
Do you want
But
that?
it's a one and done thing.
Do you want that, Clara?
I don't mind if no one
Because
else
you were
wants it.
Well, you were kind of
feels
the one who
like it.
was. Yeah, you were the one who was kind of
Yeah.
empathizing with.
Sure, I mean they didn't kill me. I'm kind of concerned as to why they wanted to talk to me so bad, but.
And then we had a load of pistols as well.
Oh, don't give those to me. I won't be able to fucking hit shit.
Who
with them
wants
anyway.
my flame pistol? I don't want it.
You don't
I've
want
already
it,
got
what?
2 and I can't hit anything with them.
So we've got a load of pistols. What's the deal with the flame pistol?
It's just if you get a crit, then they are burning basically.
Sorry, what was that thing called? Elemental Gem?
Yeah, it's an elemental gem Mark II.
Oh, fancy.
A flame pistol
Hey,
shoots a line of ignited petrol from its barrel. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
What was the armor called? Do you know?
Yeah, the armor is Lashinta Temp Basic, I think. Let's
Temp
see.
basic.
Yeah, so if I'll try and see if I've.
That's okay. I'll find it.
And that way, at least we're a bit pimped out. But I think it's just appropriate, isn't it? Because you're a Lashunta. It's pretty good, actually.
Wait, so temp, TEMP.
Yeah, it's Lashunta.
found it.
Lashunta
go.
Temp Weave Basic,
Oh, got it.
I'll be right back.
and it's pretty good. It's +4 to both
Nice.
EAC and
Very
KAC. And your max dex bonus is 5. So I'm guessing your dex is pretty good. Your dex bonus.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, my dex bonus. Right.
yeah, so that should make you a lot more difficult to hit, I would hope.
Thank you. I appreciate you carrying around the alien corpse.
it's what I do. So yeah, we've got all these pistols, which is so we've got a flame pistol, but I'll make a quick note of this. Flame pistol.
What level are they?
What's the flame? What level's that flame pistol? I mean, you can
Level
use it
2.
anyway. You can use it anyway, Ali.
Yeah, it's
It's
level
not-
2.
there's no-
but,
Yeah, there's no
I've
limitation on
already
your
got a
ability to use it.
pistol.
Yeah, but it might be. I mean, I know your primary weapon is your sniper rifle, but depending on what pistols we've got, because I've now
mean-
got.
if no one wants it, I'll just sell it.
I mean, I'm wondering if it's worth us selling some of our pistols,
Yeah.
and just giving it up because we don't need more than one. What pistol have you got at the moment?
Arm the refugees.
No.
We're not arming the
Ooh,
slaves.
Brilliant.
You're right.
Stop calling them slaves. They're an army, and we should exploit this resource. We should go and conquer a fucking asteroid.
With 100 people.
Do you know what? Do you know what? If you could persuade them, I'm totally down for that.
I am
Oh,
dialing
we
up
could do
another
that.
20-foot tall blaz and a
If
brilliant
you,
speech.
if you think you can turn this
That's
into
funny.
into a band of space pirates and take over this place, I'm totally down for that.
This is what
I
happens.
just never go back. Just never fulfill the mission. Just go. Sorry, Jay. This is what we're doing now. We've now become space pirates. We have our own private army. We're going to take over this.
I
this-
fucking love this
Jay
idea.
and Zoe are gonna come back, and essentially we've now decided to conquer a planet. In the two
Not just the
minutes
planet. All of these fucking asteroids. This whole place.
X in chat if this is a great idea. Space pirates.
Space pirates.
Come on.
I'm well down for space pirates.
Oh my god, it's this weird thing where we're all on the same page. Wanting to
Don
defy
Dark.
the Gates Master.
Way.
Don Dark called them meat shields.
Oh my god, I love that meat shield.
Brad is
Yeah.
obviously down. Don Dark is X all over this shit. Oh yes, this is the move. This is
So-
the move. Captain
Captain
Blaz Sparrow. Fuck yes. Oh
Somebody
my
better
god.
somebody better tell the captain that when she went to the toilet, we've all decided that.
Well, hang on. Face is
We're
like
gonna
really,
conquer
really
an
shit hot.
asteroid this
Face
time.
is really shit hot with like diplomacy and stuff. So he should be the one to try and convince Clem and Yala this is the way to go.
God, what have you done? What have you guys done? I only went
Sure.
for a quick pee.
It wasn't us. It was chat. Chat have insisted that this.
We gave
this
them
is the
control.
play. Yeah.
We gave them control. We gave them
what-
control.
What we discerned while you guys were out of the room was that we have an alarming amount of superfluous weapons,
Okay.
and we have an alarming amount of superfluous people.
Meat shield.
So yeah, meat shields, as Don Dark suggested we
Oh,
call them. So what we have effectively is a hardy space pirate army, and we're heading to like Space Pirate Central. We should take over an asteroid and set ourselves up as mini warlords.
No.
The
It's a
chat
take.
decided we should become space pirates.
One episode into season 2, folks, and already all my plans are going up in flames. It's Starfinder: The Drift
You know
Awakens
what?
on Monday
If
night.
you guys want to do that, that's fine. I'll go back to Absalom with Clem and Yala and leave the fuckers on an asteroid.
Are we
I don't know,
already
no,
spinning
too
off
many-
on season 2? We're getting the
I've
spin-off
got
season.
too many fucking problems
Brad,
to
Wait,
start
wait.
a pirate.
Brad in chat said Captain Blaz Sparrow, and that was it. I was
Alright,
sold.
okay, yeah, I can see why
This
that would.
is the move.
You shouldn't feel your ego, Brad.
Have you
How
guys
do you know? How do you know Clem and Yala aren't down with this?
divvied up your loot as job 1?
We have.
Are you happy
We have.
with your split?
We have, with the exception of we've got not a surfeit, but we do have an excess of pistols.
Well,
So-
you know, trade goods never hurt anyone, right? I mean, they don't
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
sell as much for as much on the open market as they would be to buy new. But having some grist for the mill, entering into a trade hub, as you are planning to do, I guess can't do any harm.
I'm the colonists.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to check, Zoe, what your pistol at the moment? What do you have?
I have a skip
You've
shot.
got is it skip shot?
And
Yeah.
yeah, I have. Is it skip shot? And I have my hail pistol.
So what are the damage on those?
This both 1d4 plus 1. It's just
Okay,
the
that's
range
fine.
that's different. One's
Yeah,
20
yeah.
foot, one's 60.
So I've got locust beam hom. How many pistols can you carry, Jay? That's the other thing. I mean,
So if you're carrying them in your traveller pack, then it would be dictated by the amount of bulk that you're carrying. So you'd have to tot up, kind of like how much stuff you're lugging around. In terms of actually how many you can have on you, it would depend on whether they're one-handed, two-handed, and the like. So yeah, it depends on what kind of attacks you want to do. But if they're just in your backpack, then up to your bulk limit before you start to get
well,
over-encumbered.
I tell you what. Let's just keep the pistols we got for the time being. I don't think there's any pressing need for us to divvy them out unless
No.
anybody needs.
Wants to swap something out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
James, do you really use pistols very often?
No, I don't use
But,
firearms
yeah,
at
that-
all.
Yeah. So okay, what about you, Face? You want one of these different pistols? Do you maybe want this perforator pistol? Or-
We've got 3 melee build and magic characters, and like
Yeah, I know.
pistols. And I'm literally I've got 1 pistol and I plan on selling it. So
I mean, don't forget that Ellie's a murder machine with her sniper rifle, though. Yeah, it's like it is literally just almost where we go. We don't need pistols, so we can probably get rid of a few of them. I think.
Yeah, we could probably sell them.
Don Dark
Yeah.
makes such a great point that pirates have pistol belts full of pistols.
That is true. That is true.
Ooh, that's very
Yeah,
true.
Ellie's on board. Yes.
I'm going back to
I'm
the
all down for piracy, in character and out of character.
You can't go. You can't leave, Captain. You're the captain. You have to be the
Yeah.
pirate captain.
What's the opposite of a mutiny?
Taking control of your crew, I think, is what it's known as. Easier said than done, I appreciate.
It's already been a long week and it's only Monday.
Okay, so you guys stay up late into the night, powwowing, bickering, exchanging loot before eventually night sets in and it's time for everybody to go to bed. Everybody gets some shut-eye. And largely successfully, I would imagine you guys take shifts to keep an eye on our passengers. Clem and Yala largely leave it on autopilot. They have like a wired connection to the bridge from their living quarters, so that anything unduly alarming comes up, they can be on the case. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I just have to roll a D100.
That's
Interesting.
Random encounters.
Okay.
Piracy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Pirate raid.
Oh, okay.
The annoying thing is, I think Clara would look so cool with a fucking pirate captain hat on.
You come to the dark side.
You know you want to do
Just
it.
imagine her with like the tricorn hat with like her little ears poking out. She'd look fucking badass, but also a little bit cute.
If you became the leader of a pirate crew, you could have spent some more time freebooting around the galaxy searching for your ship.
Yeah. I'm already
I'd be
scared of
down.
what that investigation's gonna bring up.
We could raid some of the corporate shipping
Part of the
lines.
ship,
I
part of
am
the crew,
100%
part of the ship,
down.
Part of the crew. Part of the
Can we make people walk the plank?
Yes.
I mean, it would be more like walk the airlock, but yeah.
Do I walk the docking arm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk the docking arm.
She's
We could put a plank-
practically a pirate already.
We could
Ormanganda
put a
will do
plank-
anything to fight.
In the airlock, if that would
Hope
make
you-
you feel better.
Yeah.
Destroying people makes me feel better.
I hope you're making some notes here, Jay. I'm planning where your story arc is now going. It's got fucking Stephen King. That's what's happened.
The only one I'm really struggling to come up with a motivation to do this for is Face. Who's like kind of law and order.
I mean, he does like just eating people though.
Yeah.
I
Any
whole
opportunity
sci-fi
to
thing is basically just
Unlimited eating of people.
unlimited eating of long pork.
So
we don't deal in people though. That would be Clara's one rule. We don't deal in people.
so
Agreed.
you guys
I'm captain.
wake
We
up.
can eat them, but we don't sell them into slavery.
You guys wake
Don't
up.
send you into slavery. I'm going to eat you now.
You guys wake up the following morning to
no.
a fairly chirpy Clem cooking up some breakfast in the kitchen. He's just bouncing around the kitchen, getting some brekkie ready for him and Yala.
I'm just making some scran if you guys want to get in on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any rum, Clem? That good space rum.
Well,
For breakfast.
I might have.
We're pirates now. We drink rum at every meal.
I might have a little dram of something or other. Let me have a little look-see here.
He pulls out a nondescript bottle
Who's
from
gonna
under,
get a bottle?
out from underneath the counter, and he's
Oh,
like, he comes over to you, Ormanganda, and pops a tumbler down, and he just pours you a little dram. He's like,
Don't shout.
Yes.
Oh, they're all in one, huh?
You have the remainder of the day. What's everybody working on? Did you exchange any armors? Any armor that needed tweaking for size? Anything that needed adapting? Working on any projects that you guys are working on for the remainder of your journey here?
I'll do whatever I can to assist James with the alterations that need to be made.
Okay.
I'm no technical
Yeah.
expert, but I can give him a hand, I guess.
Okay.
There's an armor swap going on, so I resized the veil for Ormanganda and resize Ormanganda's clearweave armor for Clara.
Nice.
And those Lashunta temp weave for Ellie.
You fixed the
Yes.
holes in it that
From where I ripped out the guy's spine.
The guy's spine.
Okay, so there's a proper little production line, a little armor
Thank you,
workshop,
Laz.
an impromptu armor workshop starts up, but the rest of you largely kind of pitch in on this. There's a fair amount of work for him to do, so you help out where you can. So it's a flurry of sonic screwdrivers and measuring tapes, and by the end of the day, you're all looking pretty sharp in your new armors. Well done, everybody. But before long, Clem's mood turns a little bit serious, not least because Yarla comes over the comms, and she is not as upbeat as the rest of you. She's been busy navigating the drift on the way into the diaspora. It's a pretty treacherous area of space, and it's making her a little bit nervous. You hear her come over the comms, and
Clem, you and your friends better get up here. I don't know this neck of the woods too well, and I'm starting to get a bit nervous. The scrubbers are really working hard up here.
well,
Scrubbers?
she's talking about the CO2 scrubbers. I think we're getting pretty close to the red line. You guys settled on where it is you want to head?
Captain?
The Isoki ship, right?
Yeah, I think the ship's the best idea.
Well, okay then, you guys know what you're doing. Let's do this thing. Yarler, I think we're gonna head to the we're gonna head to the ship. We're gonna head to the Farah, whatever the fuck it is. Hang on. We're gonna head to the Farabarium. They've made a decision down here.
Are you sure, Clem? It's been a while.
Well, we're just flying this thing. It's up to these folks, really.
Well, you better get up here. I'm not sure I can drop it out right on the bullseye.
Any of you guys any good at astro navigation? Think she could probably do with a little help down there.
You're not any good at
That would be a
navigation,
physical.
though.
That would be physical science.
Oh, not piloting. Yes.
I can do physical science. Let me get up there.
Ooh.
Okay. Anyone assisting?
Yeah, I'll assist.
Clara,
Okay.
sorry, you get a +2 for assist rolls because you're a Vlacker.
Mhm.
Okay. So everybody's assisting. Please roll me a physical science check.
I have 0, mod on physical science though.
Ooh,
I'm good
9.
at life science. Not
9. That is a fail.
But it doesn't make any difference because if you pass, is it a 10?
It would be an
DC check of 10, you still get-
intelligence roll for you, Clara. If you were just doing it raw.
Yuki.
Still worth doing, I reckon.
So intelligence +2 because of the assist, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that for now. Yeah, I'll check that for next week. But yeah, that feels right.
That's 18.
Okay, that's +2 for you then, Face. So, Facey, if you could give me your physical science check in your attempts to assist Yarla in dropping out of the drift as close to the Farabarium as possible.
Okay. 12.
Oof. Okay. You may be good at astronavigation. However, as you fire up the drift engines to punch back into regular space, doesn't go entirely according to plan. Yarla looks over to you and she goes,
Well, we're back in regular space, but I'm getting some real strange readings here.
I look at the readings.
you detect a strange energy signature. In fact, two strange energy signatures that from the logs were apparently present before you returned to normal space. And as you pass through the rift between drift space and normal space, you feel a sudden pull on the ship. Everybody shifts and momentarily almost loses their footing. And you hear throughout the ship,
Fuck me.
Pardon me.
Deaf now.
What the fuck?
and yeah,
We'll
you
leave it
don't
there.
you don't know what
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
you don't know what the sound was, but within moments of hearing the sound, this ear-splitting shriek on return to normal space, the comm system sparks to life, ringing up from the cargo bay into the bridge, to the front of the cargo bay, where Face and Yala are, and up to the living quarters where Clem and the rest of you are. And you hear the Rubio's voice, and it is, for the first time since you've met him, panicked.
Guys, I don't know what you're doing up there, but we got intruders on the ship.
And you hear the screams of colonists and the sound of laser fire coming from down in the cargo bay. And that,
We should have the bastard colonists.
and that is where we are going to leave it for this week. Yeah, so close, but yet so far. Okay, so our party are bearing down on their destination, the Farabarium, the Yosoki salvaged warship, and impromptu trade outpost. However, they seem to have picked up some trouble along the way, and it's down in the cargo
taking
bay.
No blame for this. This is not.
Trouble on the way down in the cargo bay.
Who knows what awaits them next Monday here on Starfinder: The Drift Awakens. But it's me, so you know it's probably going to be horrible.
Cool, we get to test out all our new kit.
At bonus internet points for anyone who writes us a spacefaring sea shanty for our new pirate endeavor.
Yeah. Drop it in the Discord.
Pirate names. Pirate names for all of us.
Thank you, crew. It's very nice to have you back. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. A little bit of a reset, a bit of a fork in the road, and we're still kind of deciding who we're going to be, where we're going to go. There are lots of threads out there, some of which you've grabbed with both hands tonight, some of which you have patently ignored. But of course, that is your decision. Maybe food for thought for next week. What's he talking about? What have we ignored? Well, you'll just have to work it out.
Wait, there were multiple threads. I thought it was just space piracy.
That is how you chose to interpret the situation. Yes. Please,
That's right.
Please,
Correctly.
guys, do me a favour. Go and follow OverlordFace, whose link is now in chat. Make sure you're following him because me and Zoe play Dungeons and Dragons, the inspiration for this very stream, every Wednesday night at 8 PM on his channel. If you're not following him, you're a fool. Same goes, of course, for VampZoe. VampZoe herself, a very talented streamer and just all-round lovely lady. Doing the old arts, crafts, gaming, and watch parties. Lots of watch parties
I'm
coming up for
actually
you.
streaming in 5 hours' time.
There you go. So if you're a night owl, get on VampZoe's stream. And we're also shouting out, and hopefully this button works. No, that's your opponent's. Although you should follow him. He's cool. He's very cool. He live scored for us once. But go and follow the Uncanny Crafter because I can sense she's still wavering on whether or not to do a craft stream. And I know I'd tune in. I know you would too. So make sure you're following her in anticipation of her Twitch debut, which I would imagine is very soon. When we've got her up to... We're going to get to 50 followers before she's ever put camera to parchment. So, on that note, please do join us all again next Monday. at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, unless I'm on the toilet, I will be live streaming some live looping. Who can say at this stage? I'll be honest, it's pretty bad.
You said live. You did say live looping, right?
Not live
pooping.
pooping.
Yeah,
You know what? I suppose I should have seen that coming. Yeah.
Maybe
Thanks.
both.
do a beak lever stream from the other end.
Oh, just fuck off, you lot, because it's really horrible. I feel really not well.
Sorry, mate.
I'm really not okay.
I love you. It's a very masculine form of affection
You don't-
to sympathise with you.
You don't
Why say
understand
this?
how deep I had to dig to actually make this stream happen today. I'm struggling.
Right? No, that manly,
I
mate.
feel your pain.
That's
the only reason I joke.
You forcing your way through this stream, and you
Never-
did a sterling job. That's some toxic masculinity there.
Never
Well
never
done.
question my commitment to the cause, all right? Never question it. Right. I can't, but you know what? Can't believe I had this conversation in the bit that I still upload to YouTube. I'm going to run the credits, so if you guys insist on talking about this more, at least I'm not capturing it in amber forever on YouTube. So let's run the credits before this conversation takes any more of a turn for the worse. Chat, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes and we're going to raid out. But YouTube people, see you later. I have actually been editing a lot of episodes over the last couple of days. So yeah, there should be a flurry of Season 1 dropping on the YouTube channel very soon. And if you don't already subscribe on YouTube, please do. Link is also in chat. Right, we're going to run the credits and we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
YouTube.